What's your view internally on that statement, that narrative?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just another win. I mean, these are hard to come by, as I've said before. I appreciate the way our players played in all three phases, really complementing one another. We took care of the football. Special teams got us off to a great start with Andre Roberts' return, and we stayed resilient through the course of the game. We knew it was going to be 60 minutes or longer, just based on their success and Russell Wilson's just winning mentality.
I know typically you don't get a lot of information on injuries, but it's been a bit since the end of the game. What can you tell us about Trey White at this point?
Yeah, don't know. Honestly, Adam, I have not gotten with I just jumped out of the shower and got on with you guys here, so I'll know more probably early part of the week here.
All right, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Sean, congrats on the win.
Thanks,
last week, after you guys beat the Patriots, I asked you what this win means, and you said it was an emotional win. It got you emotional. It was emotional for the city. So what does this win against a guy like Russell Wilson and the NFC leading Seahawks? Come on, give me something.
Yeah. No, it was a great win. Great win. I mean, any win's a great win in the National Football League, but let's be honest, that's a really good football team that we played today, and so was the Patriots, don't get me wrong. It's just this week, I mean, to take our game where the guys took it, they earned it. They worked their butts off during the week. They were focused, and I just wish our fans honestly could have enjoyed it with us.
When you look at what the offense was able to do, it really looked like this is the offense we saw the first month of the season. You know, Josh Seta tied his career high in passing yards. I mean, guys were just electric out there in the passing game. Just what did you see from that side of the ball and how they were able to execute today?
Yeah, just great coordination. I thought Dable did a great job with the offensive staff, good communication on the sideline, and the execution was at a high level. And that started back in practice. Great communication during the week of practice and what we liked, what we didn't like, and then the players executed again. And it all starts up front. It always starts up front.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Sean, congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks, Vic.
And just the fact that following up what Heather said about this offense, the other part of this was how little you ran, and obviously it varied heavily from last week where it was a run-oriented attack. When you were preparing this game plan with Brian and basically deciding on, okay, we're gonna throw it, we think that's the way to go. You as a defensive-oriented guy, it doesn't quite fit that profile perfectly. So how do you put your head in that position of saying it's a good day if we have our quarterback throw as much as Josh did today, obviously with the confidence that you were going to have a good result?
Yeah, listen, we go through, we vet everything out. We talked about it, I think, as a staff. We have great communication during the week, and we want to be responsible in what we're doing, but also know how we want to try and win each game. So I really thought we did a good job establishing the line of scrimmage a week ago in the run game, and then this week we just felt like the right recipe, the right formula was to go at them through the air a little bit there. So, and I think you saw the fruits of that. So, again, credit to the offensive line, giving Josh time to throw. And Josh played a heck of a game. He was under pressure at times, was able to escape, was smart with the football, and got it where he needed to get it to his outlets at times when they were pressuring. And listen, Josh was emotional. He as you probably heard, lost his grandmother last night, and it was a big win and a great thing for him to play like he played. Just a mentally tough young man.
Okay, actually didn't hear that, and very sorry for him and his family. Just one quick follow-up was on Josh. Matt Hasselbeck mentioned this morning on ESPN about the shoulder injury, non-throwing shoulder injury he suffered, that Josh had suffered against the Raiders. Matt said something similar in his career, and was, again, I know this is highly imperfect, but he was using his own physical timeline and saying that the healing point should be good enough now where he would, he was talking this morning that in a game like this, whatever effects that were there, and I know Josh didn't complain about it, nobody really mentioned it, but any thoughts there on the fact that he was more healed maybe from that, and we also saw that result?
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, there's a lot of things that bake into that, Vic. Josh is a tough. He's a tough sucker, man, and that's why I think the guys like playing with him, playing for him, and the O-line likes blocking for him. I mean, he endears himself to his teammates. Maybe some other quarterbacks would have taken a week or two to come back or whatever timeline. I don't watch TV on Sundays before the game, but
Really?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I try to stay away from that. With all due respect. No, I thought it was great. I mean, gutty performance by our team. We knew, like I said earlier, we knew they were going to test us through 4 quarters, and they did that.
Thanks, Sean. Again, congrats.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks, Vic.
Hey, Sean, it's John Scott. Aggressive is the word we heard a lot of the defensive guys use when describing the plan for this afternoon. Why was that something that we saw this afternoon, maybe more so than some other games?
Yeah, I thought Leslie Frazier came up, and with the defensive staff as well, came up with a great game plan. Just what we felt like we needed to do to win the game, honestly, John. And it was fun to watch. It was really fun to watch us play aggressive in that regard and yet fundamentally sound.
We've seen when things have been ramped up and more aggressive, the results have usually been pretty good. Does that, as a defensive guy, I mean, what allows players to seemingly play more free in that aggressive nature?
Well, it's probably a mindset. I think when you have clarity during the early part of the week in terms of how we want to attack the game plan, and then they can go out there and execute. The practice time we put in allows the guys to understand the ins and outs of the defense and the game plan, and then they can go out there and play free, like you said.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Sal, congratulations.
Thanks, Sal.
I won't ask you about statement games, okay? Stay off that topic here. You made one today. But look, what I do want to ask is, look, everyone, the media loves to create narratives, and everybody and their mother figured this was going to be a high-scoring shootout. As a coach, especially a defensive coach, did you realize that was going to be the case today? As proud as you are of your defense, did you kind of figure this was going to be exactly what we saw?
I think if I'm accurate, they were the number 1 scoring offense in the league. So, yeah, I mean, we knew that it was going to be. Whenever you play Russell Wilson, I've gone up against him a few times as coach against him. I think we were up 31-0 in the divisional championship game in 2016, I believe, and he came back within a score. So that's the way he is. That's what you need to do, and you got to score points against him, and then you got to play complementary with all 3 phases. And I thought we did that with the takeaways on defense and the special teams unit making some big plays for us also.
And if I could ask you, I think Vic's right. I don't know that anybody knew about Josh's loss there. Can you just kind of tell us maybe the mood before the game, what you might have said to him and all that?
Yeah, so we found out last night, and obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to Josh and his family. And, we talked yesterday before meetings last night. I called Josh and just asked him where he was on it. And, obviously expressed my sympathy to him as well as his family. And he said he wanted to play, and we just felt like he was going to have to compartmentalize for the better part of 24 hours in order to get through the game. And that's what he did. And then he was emotional after the game, and, not an easy thing to play through.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, 34 points against generally is probably not something you're interested in, but you had so much probably to be happy about with what you saw from your defense. I guess I just wanted to see what your thoughts are on having a game of 34 points, but doing so many things that I'm sure that put a smile on your face.
Yeah, I mean, taking the ball away, Tim, I think was it 4 times? We took the ball away 4 times. So, I like how we were playing offense on defense, if you will. So I like the aggressive mindset, and I thought our guys did some good things. They like always, Russell's going to make some plays, and they have an explosive offense, and we knew that. And so there's some plays in there we want back, and we've got to make sure we get that, looked at this week as we move forward.
What would you be able to say? I know that these are 2, especially when you're talking about the linebacker position, you want to look at the film and see things. But your general impressions on both Edmonds and Klein today? Yeah,
I thought, as you mentioned, looking at the film would be important, but I thought they were active. Every time I saw the ball, in the run game or saw the ball in the pass game, they were around it quite a bit, and that's really good to see. Really good to see. And I know AJ made the big play down the stretch on the sack fumble there, which is huge. But it's not a team that's turned the ball over very much coming into this game. So, my hat goes off to our defense and the defensive coaches.
Was there any kind of extra change of mission for AJ Klein today?
No, AJ was I thought executed at a high level. That's probably a question more so for AJ, Tim, but really proud of the way he played.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Coach, Jason Wolf of the Buffalo News. Congratulations on a big win.
Thanks, Jason.
Piggybacking off of Tim's first question there, I was curious to ask you, lots of pressure today, the 4 turnovers, obviously on defense, critical to coming out of this with the victory. How do you manage to sustain that now moving forward, now that you guys have had that type of a breakthrough performance?
Yeah, well, I think you go back and look at the film like we always do and make the adjustments that we need to make. And then, we look at it and say, hey, okay, what's the next game plan, honestly? So we got a good Arizona Cardinals team that we're going to travel out west to play, and it'll be a big challenge.
Also curious, your thoughts on what Jerry Hughes is able to deliver all season long, and then today in particular. His pressure in the first quarter led to Poyer's interception. He had the strip sack. I mean, just the role that he stepped into on the team this year. Yeah,
really proud of him. Really proud of Jerry. Made some big-time effort plays in particular today that I noticed without, again, looking at the film at the interior line and whatnot. So really proud of the way he's led that group and been a consistent performer for us all season to this point. Big-time plays today.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats again.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, Sal Capaccio here, WGR. Congratulations on a big win.
Thanks, Sal.
I want to ask you about your offensive line. They had 3 guys go down there pretty quickly in short order, and had to kind of shuffle the deck. You've spoken before about how important it is to have smarts and versatility, and sure enough, you really needed it. Can you kind of just revisit that a little bit and how important that was today?
Yeah, you're right. That position flexibility because of the smarts and toughness, and again, backup staying ready, being ready to go when asked and when called upon. Very unselfish approach, which I think is a great thing for a football team.
And as far as unselfish approach, I know that's something you harp on, you preach, and you talk about a lot at practice. How far does it go? I read something, heard something today about how you started practice with showing unselfish plays and things like that, and last week doing it with a couple of your biggest players. And how much does that really go a long way for guys to see that everybody to be all in on that?
Yeah, well, it's got to start at the player, at the person we're dealing with, and the people we have here. And when you have those types of guys that have that in their DNA, then they want to make plays for other guys, right? I mean, you look at the block today. I think it was on the screen where we almost scored to Smoke Brown. Guys blocking on the perimeter of the offense, and that takes wide receivers blocking for another wide receiver, and that's a healthy deal right there. And I think that's something that thread we've got to continue to grow that.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, Al.